Hello, everyone. Today we are going to talk about secrets, operations, and tips from Turkish development studios with Zeynep, Hazel, Türker, and Umut. Welcome again. Before we start, I would like to mention that please write your questions to chat box, so we will be happy to answer them. Let's start with ladies. My first questions to Zeynep. Zeynep, how did we become so successful on hyper games as a nation?
As a nation, because we have a young population and they are eager to learn, and we have a good ecosystem, everyone supporting each other and like transferring their knowledge to each other. There are too many hubs and everything, and government supports us as well. So this way, I think there's a huge community, and it helps to grow faster altogether.
Yeah, agreed. What do you think about Umut? What do you think about this topic,
So,
Umut?
yeah, I typically say that there are three main reasons. Number one, as Zainab said, we are a very young, population. There are like 8 million university students, 1 million unemployed grads, etc., which are not good, unfortunately, because the economy is not doing good because of that. But that's an advantage for us because now we can actually allocate all the jobs to those potential developers, artists, etc. The second one is that for some weird reason we are good at things that has to do with engineering, software, design. It's Turkey. It's been like that, and there are zillion different reasons that is beyond this discussion. And number three, I think Turks have like a weird thing for shortcuts. So we like to kind of find the shortcut of everything. And hyper casual is a shortcut to many things such as success or becoming a game studio, etc. So I think that has to do with that. But this is my classic answer. I wanna give a better maybe and a more like a simple answer, and that is we did the right thing at the right time. It was ripe. Hyper casual was audience was ripe to be acquired, and we just did that at the very right time. And the place was right because because of the fact that Turkish lira is weak. When you make dollars, you can grow really fast. So that just created a positive feedback loop. So that's I think that I like this answer better.
Yeah, you're right. And you have also apprenticeship program, right?
Yeah.
In your studio.
So yeah, we very early on we realized these facts, and we doubled down on the potential of Turkey, and we created zillion different programs to benefit from it, including internship program. We did a boot camp program with Kodluyoruz. We still keep supporting it, and finally it evolved to an apprenticeship program, which evolved to a studio. Now we have Studio Che, uh, chair for truck, meaning apprentice. We have a
Mhm.
studio for apprentices, and they are surprisingly making great games. So they basically learn how to make games by making games. So it's I think what schools should be at the end. So yes, we are very we are doubling down on the potential of Turkey. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. I think Zeynep and Umut covered very well, but Türker or Hazel, do you want to add something?
Uh, what do you think, Hazel? You can move on
Uh,
if you want.
well, I think it was a pretty good coverage. Thank you, guys. So I guess I don't have nothing to say. Like we have young population, obviously, lots of university graduates, and the government is supporting us at some point. Umut, I know that you are not feeling really well about this, but but yeah,
Government is supporting us after we spend a lot of money.
yeah, that's
Supposedly,
true.
that
But
is supposedly. But okay, let me not.
I
talk
just
about
can
it.
add something in here.
Please.
It's been almost 10 years since I'm personally active in Turkish gaming industry, and I feel like I witnessed the whole process, that the improvements, that the increasing focus in the gaming industry in Turkey too. And the key point is here, I think it's hyper casual. That I really literally know that gaming industry in Turkey, from both the perspective of government or the young nation here that newly graduated from universities, that I know how many applications gaming companies got 4 years ago or 5 years ago, and the huge between nowadays and the hyper casual is the key point here. Like Umut said, it's a shortcut, it's a fast traveling time for the youngsters, and that's why it is really well focused right now in Turkey.
Yeah, definitely. So the next question is, what is the main competitive advantage we have on hyper casual? Let's go with you, Türker.
Can I get the question again?
What is the main competitive advantage we have on hyper casual as a nation?
As a nation, okay. So I think there's a national secret here too. We are really good at finding fast solutions in many ways, not only in gaming industry, but in lots of different industries or lots of different type of projects too. So we are really good at finding creative and good solutions to solve in fast ways, and that's also like the definition of hyper casual actually. So you have to find quick solutions to new ideas, and also you have to find new iterations to current ideas also available games in the store too. So we have a kind of DNA, like we are always focused on thinking like new solutions to available stuff, and that's one of the reasons, I guess. We always talk about other people's products or other games in the industry, and also we have a really creative mindset that we can find lots of new ideas, lots of new game designs in most of our studios. Actually, I really see that lots of different studios in Turkey have really good mechanics, really good new designs. But in that part, that comes, we are also bad at completing those projects. That's that's one of the other stuff about our nation. We find the idea at first really good. We start with a good hype and we find fast solutions, but we are also bad at completing those solutions or making a good implementation to these solutions.
I got your point. Hazel, since you are living in Paris right now, like for like 3 months, maybe you can differentiate better than us. Do you have anything to add?
Well, I mean, it's like more or less connected with the first question, the answer of the first question. So our advantage is that we have a huge young population and they are eager to learn and they are eager to discover. And since the currency difference between the Turkish lira and the USD dollars, it's these kind of things makes difference, I think, somehow. But before we should keep in mind that we know that we have a young population, but it is so important how we do educate them to become successful and to continue this hyper casual genre. So I think, yeah, this is the answer on my side.
I was going to ask that part as well. So let's continue with you. How can we stay on the top and keep becoming successful? You said already that education, but are you going to add something more?
Yeah, well, we've been doing so good so far. Actually, we should really admit that. Turkish market is one of the biggest market in the world at the moment for the hyper casual genre. So to stay top, we should like leave our egos at some point, and we should collaborate with each other and teach each other and educate young people to follow our leads if it's good for the moment. So yeah, we should really collaborate, educate the people, and invest them. Actually, I've seen that a couple of studios has, for example, like Umut said, Triple Studios has their own hub to educate the students, and I've seen that a couple of other publishing teams has it in Turkey as well. So this is really promising. This is really good. Keep doing this, guys. Keep investing your people. Leave your ego behind, and please think broader. I've seen that in some cases. Okay, I worked in many companies before in my life, and I've seen different perspectives. Sometimes I've noticed that people can stuck with their ideas, and this doesn't really help. So you should think forward. You should keep failing to discover the new opportunities, to think broader, and so on. Yeah, as a summary, I could tell you this.
Yeah, I definitely think the same thing. What you are doing, Umut, also a great thing.
Oh, thank you.
Türker, Zeynep, do you have any plans like investing like the young people or building a hub for this? Do you have any plans like this?
Actually, like, do you want to start?
No, you can go on. You can go
on. Right now, thinking, not thinking to start a hub, but maybe a little smaller internship program, so we can just start from scratch altogether and help them. Also, I'm like mentoring some people on other hubs, so like trying to do my best to I don't know, help the industry. So like this is what I can overcome right now, and I hope, yeah, I can open a hub one day as well. Yeah.
Perfect.
We also had like a good summer internship program, including like 5 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks, with lots of workshops, with lots of educations, directed from the team from our inside. And we saw that helped the newly graduated students a lot. And we also had a few people from those internship program that directly fit into our team and directly give good results on their projects. That's a good way to start increasing our quality in production and quality in the industry, the average quality in the industry actually. And also there are some incubation centers like Atom in Ankara, and there are a few in Istanbul too. We are always investing in those incubation centers. We are trying to get into every event, every workshop or education that we can get inside and that we can help to those incubation centers. We are also one of those graduates from those incubation centers, and that's why we know why they are so important in the industry, why everyone should invest in those incubation centers. That's really important too. And also we have a few companies that people established working in us. We even encourage the people inside our team to, if they had the chance to build their own team, if they had the chance to work on their own, we really encourage them to do this. If you feel like you are going to be happier with this way, that's totally fine. And we even keep helping them find the good partners, find the good co-workers, etc. That's how the industry in Turkey will grow up.
Exactly.
That's. Can I add something, Eklimya?
Sure, please.
Yeah, because I 100% agree with Türker. And I just want to add a few, and I also agree with Hazel. First, let me start with Türker because he said like he's encouraging people in his company to start other teams if necessary, and he even said that we are trying to find investors and co-founders. I said that's amazing, and that's exactly what we do at Tiplay Studio as well. When we acquire people, when we hire them, we don't try to push them into a box and try to give a shape to them. Instead, what we do is the very first day I have a meeting with them, we call it the professional map meeting. So we design a 10-year roadmap with a milestone at the end. Like, what do you want to do at the end of this? After T-Play Studio, what do you want to do? And if the answer is like, I want to have my own studio, we basically reverse engineer that map to come today and ask this question. Okay, what would that person 10 years later who's going to start this company is doing right now? And then 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 1 year from now. And then we encourage them to do the right things to become a co-founder. And we tell them like, we can invest in you as T-Play Studio or personally the co-founders. So that's a very good point. And I just wanted to mention that we are on the same page. I'm actually very happy to hear that from you, Türker. Another thing I want to add is Hazel said, like, I 100% agree with you. She said, we have to have bigger, more broad visions about the future, and we should invest in youth. And I 100% agree with you. And this is why, for example, we as Tiplay Studio, we give our employees stock options to make them a part of the company. They have shares they earn as they work. And I seriously believe that there's going to be a reverse brain drain for hyper casual and mobile game genres in Turkey. We are going to have people from France, Israel, other countries come back to Turkey and basically double down on the potential of Turkey, because we are speaking the same language. We are having the same culture. We are, on the same ship. So I think that generates huge opportunities for everybody involved. And I think we'll see the reverse brain drain pretty soon.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for adding, Umut. So next question. Right now, with the COVID, we see that hyper-casual growth a lot. It's still growing. We are seeing different genres. But I would like to ask this all of you. How do you see in the future hyper-casual? And can we still catch the success if trends change? What you can start with one or
I can
Hazel?
start if
Yes, please.
that's okay.
Sure.
We have lots of experienced developers in Turkey. So even hyper casual trend is over, we're gonna be successful because we have the knowledge, we have the like experience on different mechanics and everything. Also like most of the casual studios became a hyper casual studio. They already have the knowledge to continue from with the other genres or even with the PC games. I know friends that they were making AR games and now they are making hyper casual games and so on and on. So we're gonna catch up like definitely, and we're gonna be successful because we are all dedicated to educate ourselves right now, and it doesn't matter what genre it is or what platform. We're gonna just adapt that very very fast, I believe.
Or working muscles is there. What do you think, Turker?
In fact, it continuously changes in the hyper casual side. There are huge changes in the quarter base, even in 3 months, 4 months. You see a significant change on the game types, in mechanics, in the type of creatives you wanna try, or other stuff too. So, as a hyper casual studio, you have to always adapt to new sides of the hyper casual type, and it is not like hyper casual will convert into something in a year or in 2 years. It's always changing. So maybe the hyper casual term will stay always, but in long term you will see lots of differences in the games that you will say like 1 year ago hyper casual was a totally different genre, and nowadays it seems like totally different, but we still say those games hyper casual games. So that's why you always have to adapt yourself as a studio, and that starts becoming a professional studio. If you wanna adapt always to these changes, you have to become a good professional on the industry, and you have to focus on your team to make it more eligible to adapt those changes. That's why you always have to invest in your team.
Yeah, I think the same, right? The hypercasual name definition going to be changing, but hypercasual going to be there always. What do you guys think, Umut, Hazel?
Hazel, would you like to go?
I don't mind if you are okay.
Please.
I can go.
First, ladies first.
Okay, so well, I've been in hyper casual like over 3 years now. My main focus was hyper casual during this time. So I've seen lots of changes during this time period, and I always say that the hyper casual is the consequences of the today's like consumer behaviors in the world. So it won't change. I mean, the hyper casual games, the basic dynamics, basic mechanics, the graphics, easy to understand and easy to play, it won't change at all. But the game itself will change definitely. I mean, at this point, I agree, Türker and Zeynep, 100%. The game that we play changes every day because of the trends that we see in the social media, trends that we see on the like live streams, like from the I don't know, the series, anything that you can imagine. So if we keep adapting these new trends to our games, I'm 100% sure that we will keep successful, become successful. And that's the important point, in my opinion. So you should always track the trends correctly, follow TikTok, social media accounts, follow the series, what's trending at the moment in the world. So this is really important, and use that in your creatives. So this is a quite easy tip from my side.
Thank you.
I can add a few things, if I may.
Please.
I agree with everybody, Türker, Hazel, and Zeynep, by the way, and I just want to add 3 different angles to it. One, hyper casual is gonna stay. That's for sure. It's shape shift into something else, maybe, but it's gonna stay. That's that's a given. I believe instant games, is offering a lot of opportunities that most people don't even fathom yet. For example, Playco raised like more than $100 million a few months back from like Sequoia, Andreessen Horowitz, etc., to make instant games for platforms like Zoom. So these are games that fills 2 minutes, 1 minute, 5 minutes. Basically, they are hyper casual mechanics. Maybe slightly different, maybe more socialized, maybe more competitive, etc. But at its core, they are simple games. They are not core, mid-core games, right? So I believe there's gonna be a lot of potential within the instant game genre, and that's gonna fed by hyper casual studios drastically. Another potential is the hybrid casual genre, such as Arcade Idol. I'm just gonna talk about it actually at about half an hour later here. So that is completely another area of opportunities. Different genres like idle plus hyper casual, or simulation plus hyper casual, or X plus hyper casual. So that kind of hybrid games are gonna be very popular in my mind. And thirdly, I think there are gonna be a lot of casual games, more casual games that are fed by hyper casual mechanics or gameplay or feel or the core values of hyper casual. In other words, I believe a lot of hyper casual studios are going to start making more casual games. Maybe they're going to be closer to hybrid casual, but some of them are going to be using other even platforms, not just App Store or Play Store. Some of them are going to be even on Steam. I wouldn't be surprised, and we already see signs of it. So I just wanted to add these three perspectives as well.
Yeah, definitely. I'm thinking the same. One, we have a question from our attendees. I think all of people in Turkey who is involving the gaming industry wants to have in their own studio, because we are seeing at the same time lots of investments to the studios. So they are wondering that what would you suggest for small teams that recently start out on joining an ecosystem who wants to build their studios? Let's start with that one. What's your suggestions to them? Tips and tricks.
I can start if you want.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I have a very short answer. So
Don't.
yeah, because there's a hype, right now. Like if you say like, hey, I'm gonna start a game studio, a guy who was just about to buy, let's say, a gas station or a hotel would invest that money to a game studio, and that's a good thing. I really like that, to be honest with you. However, if three guys who know nothing about gaming or who are very at the early stage of their careers take that money, they go down together. They may go down together. There's an opportunity, of course, they can do great things, but in hyper casual right now, the competitive is really, really like harsh, fierce. There's like, and I can see in your face how fierce it is, Eklimya, right? So CPI wars and in-game metrics, like these are not easy tricks to pull, right? So you need someone smart to support you along the way, sharing know-how. I think that's the biggest value we have, biggest asset we have as Turkey in our hands, know-how. We know how to do games. So if you find the right partner and go with them, and that can be an investor. If you have a smart money in your hands, that's awesome, such as a VC that is specialized in gaming and that can help you. There are companies like in Turkey, or it could be a publisher who can support you. There are zillion different publishers. You can pick the best one for you. And there are accelerated programs such as the one we run often that you can enter. And the value of this is you can vote with them as much as you want. You're not like getting married. If you want to self-publish at the end of the journey, you can do it. But for a year or two, you can work with someone together to learn how to do things, and you're basically getting funded as you grow, meaning that you're actually getting a scholarship. You learn how to do things as you don't spend money, as you work, as you get experience. So that's, I think, my one and only advice to people who are just getting started: have the right strategic partner.
Yeah, I definitely feeling the competitiveness in my bones. Very competitive place.
Yeah.
So what do you suggest, Türker?
I can add a few things to what that Umut said. I'm talking to lots of small studios with 2 or 3, 4 people, including, and just get into the industry like 6 months or 1 year with lots of tries. And I always encourage them to talk about bad stuff that they are experiencing with their partners or also in their team too. So the main bad stuff is like Umut said, the finding the good partner. That's the main problem for small studios. I totally understand them that they feel like the publisher or the partner they are working with will do all the magic stuff to their team or to their games, that they will instantly find a few hits and they will live happily forever after that. But that's not the case. And with this perspective, after 6 months or 7 months, with lots of trials, they got a disappointment and they got a really bad feeling about those bad tries with lots of bad KPIs also, definitely. And I always encourage them to invest in themselves, and that they shouldn't feel like all the good stuff will come from their partners. They always find those magic touches by themselves. There are a few examples that goes the opposite way, and I'm sure there will be people that will disagree with me that publishers are the key elements here, and there are a few good publishers that will do those magic tasks. But in general, that will not happen. In general, you have to find those magic tasks by yourself, and that's why you shouldn't always trust on your partners all the time, and you should invest in the knowledge about, even in the publishing side, even in the marketing side too, that you will probably won't work on those sides for a long time. That's why you have to keep a good vision in the market, and that will help your team to find those magic tasks.
Yeah, thank you. Zeynep, Puza, do you have anything to add?
I can say like don't hesitate to contact other studios who made hits. So ask your questions and get their opinions, not about your games, but like how to move on or where to start, and with what to learn first, which is more important to start faster on this kind of stuff. So there's a community, and I would suggest to use it very well. So like communicate with everyone and like suck all the knowledge, like get the advantage. And so that's what I would recommend. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, on my side, I totally agree with everyone. Everyone has like touched in the very great points, but on the other side, I want to add that don't be afraid of failing in any cases. So it's really important to learn from your mistakes. It's not easy to publish a hit game, even if you are with the like publisher, or even if you are doing self-publishing. It doesn't matter. It's not really easy to find a hit game, and don't be afraid of failing. Don't stuck with your ideas, because you have to really be proactive and find new ideas every day. I've seen that so many people sometimes get emotional with their games. I know, I've been there. It's not really easy to give up on your idea, but don't do that. You have to see the future. You have to move forward with the new ideas and encourage your team. It's nothing. Basically, failing is nothing, and failing is a must, because you are learning from your failures and everything. So yeah, that's another part.
We all suggest that make peace with failing, fail fast so you can move easily. Go on.
You know, I always say, like, the guy who wins the fight is not the guy who didn't get hit. It's the guy who gets hit, and comes back again. You gotta stand up. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight.
Yeah, exactly. Another question from our audience, they're asking that how do you decide and execute expansion to neighbor geographies for a game that demonstrates an early success? I mean, the question can be go to maybe Türker or Umut.
I know nothing about it, because that's a publishing question, and that's not my area of expertise.
Türker, Hazel, Zeynep. Yeah.
I'm trying to
Very-
understand the question in a better way. That what do you think he is meaning exactly?
I think he means after soft launch, how to expand to new regions. That's how I understood actually.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the same.
Okay. I won't add lots of stuff here, but I will just say thinking it as a regional stuff will make you fail. That in hyper casual we are always trying to focus on the as you know, there's a saying from 7 to 70. So that doesn't only include the ages or the gender or the other stuff, that also includes the region too. So lots of the publishers first try in the first test in USA, but that doesn't mean you will scale in other regions too. Yes, it's a good approach to first test in USA, but if you have a good game and there are lots of stories like the game first started to scale in another region, and after that it started to spread to other regions, etc. So in the first phase, you shouldn't consider about those stuff.
Yeah. And my next question going to be for Hazal. I'm wondering that how did iOS 14 change our life?
Wow. Okay, that's the 1 million question, right? Well, it changed lots of things. I must say that because like everything has been changed. I mean, the creative test that we made has been changed. The game tests are changed, and the way that we see the data, read it, and actioning has been changed. So basically, everything on the the campaign side and as well as the monetization side. So I don't know how to explain like very briefly, and maybe I can tell you that now. Okay, so maybe I should start with this. Before iOS 14, our main focus was the US iOS market, which was the most important market since it was bringing the most of our revenue, right? So that's why we were making all the tests in US iOS and made our decisions according to that. So with iOS 14, we've seen that there is another word in Android that we should be more focused on. We should be discovering and actioning on it. So I think these like the test part has been shifted most of the times from iOS to Android, of course, to read the data properly, to take the actions. But also we have another question saying that if Google Play, if the Android is decided to like remove the Google Ad ID, what will be happening, right? Because in that case, I mean, there is a probability that this case can happen. And at that point, I think nobody knows what to do anymore, because like it's really limiting your abilities to read the data and to it's I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it changed a lot. We know that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's going to change a lot of things more, every day more. And I am sure all of us change the way how we work.
Yeah.
But we're quick learner, I guess.
Yeah, we should be. I mean, if we want to survive in the industry, we should be, because it's changing literally every second. Every second.
Definitely. If nobody is going to add something, I will shoot my next question. So I'm wondering what is the common mistake of the studios? We talk about the good things, but what we are doing not very good.
I have zillion answers for that, but I'll let others start.
I can just say a couple of captions from my speech. It was the subject of my speech as well today, if you wish. And
Please.
like the one of the biggest thing is not choosing the right publisher is a big mistake. or good publisher or fitting publisher for you. And the perfection, it's our, like, I don't know, it's too bad you're ending up in a infinite loop, like I said there as well. You're never able to finish the, because you're not never satisfied, and you never go to test, and it just takes too much time, and you're also missing the trend at the time while we are trying to do it perfect, but the trend is gone already and you're late. And then when you think it's perfect and you test it, the results gets awful because it's outdated already. So this kind of stuff matters. So perfection is really dangerous, and this kind of stuff I can point out first.
Well, I think what you can add.
Sure, of course. So, I mean, let me give you a technical answer first, because I know a lot of people who watch this love technical answers because they're more tangible. One of the mistakes we did was our focus, because if you focus on CPI, for example, when you develop a game, it can backfire. CPI is very important, and CPI has to do with the development, design, art. That's true. However, if you focus on it, if you laser focus on just CPI, you may miss the main point, which is the actual design, the architecture of the game, and that's what makes the skeleton of the game, or the foundation of the game, right? So there's a balance there, and I believe if I have to choose between CPI and retention, now I would choose retention, for example. So every game from day one has to have a good retention focus. That includes day one, that includes day seven, and daytime. So basically, the design or architectural aspects of the game, the meta game, uh, has to have more priority, in my opinion. So that's a technical thing I learned, but there's not one way of doing things. So this is my way. Another mistake I did was personally was priority. So it's really hard to prioritize things. It's harder than most people think. And the more I learn about it, the more I realize that okay, I have to improve myself about this. And let me give you an example. When you're testing a game and it has good metrics, good KPIs, what you should prioritize is to package the game as fast as possible. And it's easy to say, and it's like obvious, right? But when you're in the zone, when you're in the tunnel vision, right? Sometimes you may miss it. You may, for example, try to lower CPI by creating like 752 different videos, and while you're working on that, some or like a competitor from overseas, I don't want to name anybody, but can clone your game and launch it, and that happened. And if you can check our account, you can see that, and that's okay. I'm not complaining here. That's okay, but you have to make sure that once you are soft launch a game, for example, your priority is speed. You gotta launch it as fast as, because that's the name of the game. That's the rule. You gotta do it. Another thing I would like to mention, another big mistake, is the team. So it's hard to create and build a team, and you have to do culture first, then the rest, in my opinion. And when it comes to creating a culture, hiring is very important. I would do hiring more slowly if I could go back to 2 years, 2019. Now we are 47 people, and excuse me, and we are a great team. We are getting better, we're improving, we invest in our internal training, etc. But if I could change one thing about the people aspect of things, I would do hiring slower. I always do firing faster, but but I would hire slower. That's a lecture I would give to anybody who's starting a studio.
Yeah. Türker?
Yes, I will add an important thing, I guess. I hear it from I hear about this problem from lots of different studios, including small ones and even big ones with like 30 or more people too. I see that lots of studios ignore about data. That's a total data-oriented genre in here, and that's also one of the most data-focused in mobile side too, mobile genres too. I see studios that only knows about CPI and retention. That's cool. You have to know about those terms and what those terms means. But there are lots of other stuff that you need to care about. You need to read your game's data. You need to focus on data, and the studios feels like, and I can also understand that data is another stuff. Data is not about game development. And should I consider it about data, even though I have a publisher, even though I have a partner? Yes, you have to focus. You have to know about data, and you have to know how to read them, how to react them, and how to make your iterations through those data. That's one of the most ignoring stuff in the industry, and I really feel uncomfortable about this. I always encourage the studios about those stuff, and that's also one of the stuff that never talks about in those events or other areas too. That's that's one of the main reasons I want to push about studios.
Yeah.
I want to add some quick stuff. So most of the times I see that the studios, when they are producing the creatives, they are acting. I mean, I love the enthusiasm, but they are adding too many things to the creatives, and this is totally not right. They are so excited with the game, and they are so excited with the CPI retention data that they have, but it's a hyper casual game, and you cannot add like a real graphics with the like RPG game graphics to your creatives. It doesn't make any sense. So please keep in mind that for the creatives part, you have to be simple. You have to make a clear image. You have to tell the story in 3 seconds, and
Yeah.
please keep in mind that it's a hyper casual game. Your audience is everyone. Please don't make it complicated as it already is. So yeah.
100% agree.
Very good point. I was going the same thing. We should understand, and I mean, audience should understand the game play in 3 seconds. Sometimes they even don't need to make it play. With just one image, you can understand the game. This is how it works.
Yeah.
Thank you for pointing out. Another question is. Does it make sense to focus on a specific genre? Or, for example, as a studio, or you are only making runner games or only puzzle games? Do you think it's a logical thing to do?
Well, I can maybe answer this one. For puzzle, I would like stay separated because it really needs a huge focus on producing a like actual puzzle game with the hyper casual mix. So maybe for the puzzle genre, yes, if you want to really focus on the puzzle, I would say you should try. But for the runners and the simulations and the other kind of games, don't do that. I mean, it's totally different perspectives to produce runners and the other sides and the simulation side, but if you want to really improve your team and your company and your vision, you have to try everything. You have to try everything. You have to try, you have to fail in each conditions, and then you can mix them and make a really hit game. So this is what I think.
Thank you.
So for small studios, I can understand this approach. Like if you're a 3 or 4 people of team and you don't have the production capacity to test everything, every kind of subgenre in the hyper casual. Like doing a simulation game is totally different than doing a runner game, both in the ideation perspective and also both in the technical part too. So you can make an approach like you can do 70 or 80% of your game in runner, for example. But in the other 20%, you should try something different. Maybe it will take longer to other runner games you are trying currently. But also, as Hazel said, this is also important to try different stuff. If you have a good idea on a simulation game, you have to try it. And right now, you have to try it. You can't wait. If you wait, you will see some other studio make that implementation, and you will cry after when you see those games. But on the other side, as I said, if you are trying 80% of your game in runner, you also make a library in this specific genre, subgenre. You will try to you will keep having a better library both in the art side and also in the coding side too. And this will make you get easier and faster prototypes after every trial. And this will also make you closer to the upcoming hit, maybe. If you have a really good idea and if you have a good library on those specific subgenre, and this will make you make a faster prototype and also make faster iterations on those games, and it will help you to reach to this potential hit game.
Anyone to add something?
I agree with Hazel and Türker. And just to give you a better understanding, we don't even give the same developer 3 runner games in a row, just to make sure that he is not burned out, because it gets boring at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta try different. But Hazel also is right. If you're focused on idle or puzzle or something very specific, that might be okay. But that has to be your core. That has to be your main ambition. And if that's the case, go for it. But other than that, I don't think. But you should take any of what we said with a grain of salt. Like that you have to make sure that you listen to us and make your own decisions, because there's no right or wrong. There's no rule. You can do your own path and move forward. So this is just our ideas.
Yeah, definitely. And another question, I think we already given reply on this. Where do you follow hyper casual trends? Hazel already mentioned that. It's TikTok, social platforms, and another question is, every day we see increase on self-publishing. So, do you guys have any plans like that?
Let me answer first. If okay. Yeah, because we are working with Rolex / since day one, and we are very happy. We don't have any other plans, but we also are a pre-publisher. We are the very first pre-publisher in the hyper casual genre with the accelerator program OFON. So we actually created a category instead of choosing in between 2 categories, like developer or publisher. We became a pre-publisher. So sky is the limit. You can do something like that in the future for other genres, or invent a new thing. So I think, sky's the limit.
There are 2 questions here, I guess. One is, are you able to self-publish? That's the first question, of course. And the second is, do you really need to self-publish? So also, I will say to the previous question that it depends on the studio, it depends on the team. And for this question too, it depends on the studio. If you're a small studio, if you are new to industry, and if you are lacking lots of experience about both in development side and also in the marketing side too, that could be a huge mistake for you to try self-publish yourself. Because that's a really totally different approach to the industry, and really different investment to your team, to the technologies too. There are lots of different stuff than the development. On the other hand, if you feel like you can able to do it, and if you feel like you need to do it, you should consider about a few stuffs. I will quickly move on from that. First is, as I said before, the data side. You should say to yourself that I am really good at reading the data. I can make good iterations through this data, and I will definitely be really good at those data sides. And the second is the technology side. Do you know how to build your team on the publishing side through all those different technologies? And do you know in theory how to build this publishing site? You can't do it after starting to self-publish your team. You have to know in the first day that you have a good cycle, you have a good publishing pipeline on your desk, and you just start to build your team through those cycles. That's the questions, I guess.
Yeah, good points. Very good points. Since we had the same journey previously, like we used to be a studio, right now we are publishing part of this process. It's really hard. I think we are out of time right now, or we're just in limit. Thank you so much for your all adding today. Hope to see you in person as soon as possible
Inshallah.
after the physical events or next online event at Hyper Games.
Sounds like a plan.
Guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Have
you,
a good
guys.
day.
Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Go Turkey.